Yo, how's it going, everyone? This is Mitchell Mander here, and welcome to another review of the Pokemon Journey series. We're going to be covering episode 72 in today's review. It involves Ash, Go, and Koharu heading to the Unova region. And they get involved in some shenanigans as them and Team Rocket end up getting mixed up and lost in this cave-like area in the underground area of Unova region. So how was the episode overall? Well, before I get into that and get on to the review, if you're new to the channel, you like this type of content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It'd be pretty cool if you did that. Alrighty, let's get on with that review. So, in this episode, Ash, Go, and Koharu head to the Unova region, and Team Rocket do as well. The reason why Ash and Go are there is because there's a rumor going around on TV and online that a new evolution for Klink was spotted in the Unova region. Turns out this was all fake. It was all a bunch of lies. The drawings online were a bunch of lies. Yeah, this guy, he just tricked everyone, or at least Ash, Go, and then Team Rocket, who were tricked into coming to Unova just to be lied to. And it turns out this guy sold them a bunch of Klink cookies, so in the end of the day, this dude, he actually was the winner here. He got a bunch of money out of Ash, Go, and Team Rocket, so yeah, he's probably tricking a bunch of other people who think the same thing, so yep. This guy he's pretty much the new Magikarp salesman. Now, I like the fact that Koharu is here, and it looks like she's mainly there to do some shopping, which she got what she wanted out of this trip. Ash and Go, on the other hand, didn't exactly get what they wanted out of this trip. Anyways, they're just hanging out, and they notice there's a hole behind them. And Grookey and Eevee, being the mischievous Pokemon they are, run into the hole, so Ash, Go, and Koharu chase after the mischievous Pokemon. So Team Rocket, seeing this, they plot a scheme against Ash and the others. So Jesse, James, and Meowth go into the hole in the ground to chase after Ash and the others. Wobbuffet is actually staying outside with a net, so that when Pikachu runs outside, Wobbuffet catches it, and yep, Team Rocket have Pikachu finally. Well, things don't exactly go as planned, as when they go down there, Morpeko comes out of his Pokeball. It's super hungry, makes a lot of noise, it gets Ash, Go, and Koharu's attention. At this point, Grookey and Eevee were found. So Team Rocket throws some smoke on the ground, so they can catch Pikachu and get away, but it ends up being to their own detriment as everybody gets mixed up. So Koharu and Meowth get separated on their own, Go and Pikachu are separated on their own, Ash and Morpeko are on their own, and Team Rocket are with Eevee, and Grookey is by itself, and manages to escape, but more on Grookey in a little bit. So everybody gets separated, and I'm going to quickly summarize how each section went, as they were all pretty funny. So we have Team Rocket with Eevee, and it's funny because for whatever reason Jesse wants to replace Meowth with Eevee. So they try to train Eevee to do the motto with them. So Eevee actually manages to pull off the motto, and Jesse and James actually end up liking that, which I thought was pretty funny. We have that, we have Ash and Morpeko. Morpeko's constantly hungry and eating all of Ash's cookies. It's driving Ash nuts, who also is super hungry as well, so it's pretty funny. And more on them in a little bit. We have Go and Pikachu. They're wandering through the hole in the ground, or wherever they're at, the maze. And they end up actually going into some sewage area. Turns out that smell that they were smelling earlier in the episode, yeah, that's sewers. And they end up running into a Seismitoad. And Pikachu actually ends up defeating it, but before Go can catch it, it falls into the sewers. So Go failed to catch this Pokemon, and more on Go in a little bit. But then my favorite segment here is between Koharu and Meowth, which I loved. So we have Meowth falling in love with Koharu because Koharu is very kind, and Meowth likes kind people, and actually explains to Koharu how he actually learned how to talk, at least briefly. So I thought that was pretty interesting, Meowth opening up to Koharu. And Koharu actually, after Meowth saves Koharu, realizes that Meowth isn't exactly a bad person, and actually encourages Meowth to make up with Jesse. And I love their interactions. So we see Meowth becoming a Koharu simp, which I thought was hilarious. So hopefully this is something that continues throughout Pokemon Journeys, or for at least the rest of the series, whenever Meowth sees Koharu. I thought it was pretty entertaining, in my opinion. Meowth, the Koharu simp. And meanwhile, we have Grookey, who actually escaped, manages to get out of the hole in the ground, and escapes, jumps into Wobbuffet's net that Wobbuffet was using to capture Pikachu, and then takes off with it, which was pretty hilarious, and Wobbuffet chases after Grookey, and Grookey ends up trying to net another Pokemon, which turns out to be a Heatmor, angering the Heatmor, and the Heatmor starts chasing Grookey and Wobbuffet, Meanwhile, we have Go and Pikachu. They stumble across a Durant, attack it, and it ends up angering a bunch of them, so a swarm of them attack Go and Pikachu, which eventually attacks everybody else, Koharu, Meowth, Team Rocket, Eevee, Ash, Morpeko, and they all end up meeting up with one another. And then at the same time, Grookey, Wobbuffet, and the Heatmores actually end up meeting up, and they end up getting into a bit of a fight here. So they all end up escaping. And it turns out that one of the Durant actually escaped along with them and was with Go conveniently, so Go catches his Pokemon. So yay, new Pokemon for Go. But then we have Morpeko here, who is actually still super hungry. Ash lost his cookies, and they don't really have anything for it, so it ends up attacking everybody and blasts both Team Rocket and Ash, Go, and Koharu off, which I thought was funny. So the episode comes to an end with Ash, Go, and Koharu walking down the streets of Unova, and Meowth over here on the other side in a random forest is just thinking about his new queen Koharu, as he is officially a Koharu simp, as the episode comes to an end. Now, overall, this was a fairly fun episode. It's a pretty decent episode overall. Not exactly the most exciting episode out there, but it was a fairly entertaining one. But for me, my favorite part in this episode was definitely some of the interactions these characters had with one another when they were separated. We have Koharu and Meowth, which is definitely the standout here, because Meowth has officially become a Koharu simp, which is great. We have Team Rocket that were trying to teach Eevee to be a member of Team Rocket, and it actually goes along with it, unknowing that it's actually possibly being used to steal a bunch of Pokemon. But Eevee's Eevee, so Eevee's oblivious to their schemes. But it's still pretty funny overall. Ash and Morpeko's section was probably my least favorite, but it was still fairly entertaining. And I liked how Go was with Pikachu and recognized that Pikachu was like Ash in a lot of ways, where Ash takes the lead in certain situations. Pikachu does the same here, so that was pretty nice as well. So yeah. That all being said, I will say I wasn't a big fan of Go's capture in this episode. In fact, I think this is one of the most forced captures that Go has had in the Pokemon Journey series so far with Durant. It just felt really convenient for this Pokemon to be right by Go, and it just wants to go with Go automatically. Seemed a bit silly in my opinion, but whatever. I will say it is probably one of my least favorite captures of Go so far in the series. So hopefully they don't do captures like this again. But then again, this is Pokemon Journey, so anything could happen at this point. But moving on, I will say that this episode type, where the characters along with Team Rocket get separated and they're forced to work with one another, we've seen this multiple times in the Pokemon anime. So this type of episode is not exactly unique. It's something they've done before. So yeah, it's a recycled plot line, so it is what it is. It was still a fairly fun episode, but I will say that is one criticism I do have, is this is something that the series has done before. I guess the anime as a whole has done before, so it's not exactly unique. So yeah. Alrighty everyone, that's pretty much all I got for this episode review. So overall, a fairly fun episode. Definitely something that we've seen before in the Pokemon series, so it's not exactly unique. But overall, it was still an entertaining episode. I'd say it's good for at least a 6.5 to 7 out of 10 rating. So guys, in the comment section down below, what did you think of this episode? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Post your thoughts. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good day or night, everyone, and peace.